Today, we are putting a budget laser level to the ultimate test. Not in a studio, not on a table, but in real construction conditions. Because let's be honest, a lot of tools look good in advertisements. A lot of tools claim high accuracy, but when you take them to an actual job site, dust, sunlight, uneven surfaces, that's where the truth comes out. And today, we're testing one of those tools, the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level. Now, this device is marketed as a budget-friendly laser level that can handle professional tasks. But the real question is, can it actually deliver accurate results when it matters? Can you rely on it for real construction work? Or is it just another entry-level tool designed for light DIY use? Because if you were a contractor, a site supervisor, or even someone working on home renovations, you already know one thing. Even a small leveling mistake can turn into a big problem. Misaligned tiles, uneven doors, crooked ceilings, and fixing those mistakes, that costs time, money, and reputation. So in this video, we are not just reviewing this tool, we are going to test it. We will check its accuracy. We will push it in real job site scenarios. We will see how it performs under pressure. And by the end of this video, you will have a clear answer. Is this tool worth your money or not? No hype, no paid promotion, just real testing, real results, and an honest verdict. Let's get started. Before we jump into testing, let's quickly break down what exactly we're going to cover in this video. Because this is not just a basic overview. This is a complete field-style review. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand how accurate the horizontal laser line really is, how reliable the vertical alignment performs, whether this tool can handle real job site conditions, and most importantly, whether it's actually worth buying. We will also test something that most reviews ignore: consistency. Because accuracy is not just about one perfect line. It's about whether that same accuracy holds over time, over distance, and in different working environments. We will test this device on walls, floors, corners, and real construction setups. We will also take it outdoors, where sunlight becomes a real challenge for laser visibility. And this is where many budget laser levels fail. So if this one performs well there, that's a big advantage. We will also look at build quality, battery performance, ease of use, and real-world applications. And finally, we will compare it mentally with higher-end tools like Bosch and Leica, not directly, but in terms of practicality. Because not everyone needs a premium tool, but everyone needs a reliable tool. So the goal of this video is simple: to help you decide, is this the right tool for your work, or should you invest in something better? Let's move into the first real step, and that is build and design. Let's start with the first impression, build quality and design, because this is the first thing you notice when you pick up any tool. And honestly, at first glance, the PREXISO P2LC15 looks simple. It's compact, it's lightweight, and it doesn't feel overly complicated. Now, for some people, that might feel like a downside. But in reality, especially on a construction site, simplicity is often a strength. Because you don't want to waste time figuring out controls. You want something that just works. The body is made of reinforced plastic. Now let's be clear, this is not a heavy-duty metal body like premium tools, but it does have rubber protection on the sides. And that matters. Because on a job site, tools fall. They get bumped, they get moved around. So that extra rubber protection helps absorb impact. Another important feature is the tripod mount. This allows you to place the laser level securely and adjust height depending on your task, which is critical for tile work, wall alignment, and ceiling marking. The buttons are minimal, which is actually a good thing. Less confusion, faster operation. And when you turn the device on, the laser activates quickly, no delay, no complicated setup. That's exactly what you want in real working conditions. Now, does it feel premium? No. But does it feel practical? Yes, and that's the key difference. This tool is not trying to compete with high-end devices in design. It is built for functionality. And so far, for a budget laser level, the first impression is actually solid. Now let's move to something more important than looks: performance under operation. Now let's power this device on and see how it actually performs in real-time operation. Because this is where many tools start to show their true nature. Some devices look good, but once you turn them on, issues begin to appear. slow startup, unstable beam, flickering lines. So let's see how the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level handles this. As soon as you switch it on, the laser activates almost instantly. No noticeable delay, no boot-up waiting time. And that's important on a job site, because when you're working, you don't want to waste time waiting for your tools. Now looking at the beam itself, the lines appear sharp and clearly defined, not faded, not broken, not inconsistent. We let the device run continuously and observed the beam over time. After 10 minutes, stable. After 30 minutes, still stable. After 1 full hour, no flickering, no dimming. And that's a very good sign, because consistency over time is what separates reliable tools from unreliable ones. Another important observation: there was no overheating. The body remained within a normal temperature range, which means you can use this for extended tasks without worrying about performance drop. Now, is this the most powerful laser in the market? No. But for indoor work, the beam strength is more than sufficient, and most importantly, predictable, which is exactly what you want. Because in construction work, predictability equals reliability, and reliability saves time. Now that we've confirmed the device runs stable, let's move to the most critical test of all: accuracy. Now we move into one of the most important tests: horizontal accuracy, because this is where most leveling tools either prove themselves or completely fail. We set up the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level facing a flat wall. Then we projected a horizontal line across the surface. At first glance, everything looks straight, but visual inspection is not enough, so we go deeper. We mark multiple points along the laser line, then compare those points with the traditional chalk reference. We also measure deviation using a tape across distance. And here's what we found. The line remains consistent across short to medium range. Deviation is minimal, roughly within 1 to 2 millimeters indoors. Now, for many people, that might not sound like a big deal, but in practical construction work, that level of accuracy is actually acceptable for most applications, especially for tile alignment, wall leveling, basic layout work. Now, let's be realistic. Is this survey-grade accuracy? No. But it's not trying to be. This is a budget tool designed for practical tasks, and within that category, it performs well. Another important factor is line clarity, because even if a tool is accurate, if the line is too dim or blurry, it becomes useless. But here, the line is clearly visible indoors, sharp enough to mark, and stable enough to trust. So overall, in horizontal testing, good consistency, acceptable deviation, reliable indoor performance. And that makes it a usable tool for everyday construction work. Now let's move to vertical alignment, which is just as important, if not more. Vertical alignment is critical, especially when you're working with structures that depend on perfect straightness. Doors, walls, columns, frames, even a slight tilt can cause major issues. So now we test the vertical performance of the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level. We project a vertical beam along a wall corner. Then we introduce a traditional reference, a plumb line. This gives us a true vertical benchmark. Now we compare both. At close range, the laser aligns very closely with the plumb reference, which is a strong indicator of good calibration. As we increase the height, we carefully observe any drift or deviation. And here's the result. The beam remains mostly consistent. There is slight variation at extended distances, but again, within an acceptable range for general construction. This means you can confidently use this for door frame alignment, wall partitions, basic structural layout. Now, one thing to understand, budget laser levels always have limitations at long distances. That's normal. Even higher-end tools require calibration checks. So the key question is not perfection. The key question is usability. And in this case, the vertical alignment is usable, reliable, and practical. Now let's take things further and test how this performs on the ground, literally. Now we move to floor-level testing. This is where real-world challenges start to appear. Because unlike walls, floors are rarely perfectly even. There are slight variations, surface imperfections, and sometimes slope differences. So we place the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level at one end of the room and project a horizontal line across the floor. Then we take measurements at different points, using a tape and a spirit level for comparison. Now here's what we observe. At shorter distances, the alignment holds well. The reference points match closely. But as the distance increases, we start to see minor variations. Nothing extreme, but noticeable. Now again, this is expected, because budget laser levels are not designed for long-distance precision leveling. However, for tasks like tile installation, floor marking, room layout planning, this level of accuracy is still acceptable. The key advantage here is speed. Instead of manually measuring multiple points, you get an instant visual reference, which saves time and reduces human error. So while this is not a high-end leveling solution, it is definitely a practical working tool. Now let's take this tool outside, where conditions become much more challenging. Now we take the test outdoors, and this is where things get interesting, because sunlight is one of the biggest challenges for any laser level. Even expensive tools struggle under direct sunlight. So let's see how the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level performs. We set it up in bright daylight and project the beam across an open area. Immediately, one thing becomes clear. Visibility drops. The laser line becomes faint, and at longer distances, it's difficult to see with the naked eye. Now, before you think this is a major flaw, let's be realistic. This is completely normal for this category. Even mid-range tools face the same issue. Laser beams are simply not designed to compete with direct sunlight. So what's the solution? There are two practical approaches. Use a laser detector or work in shaded areas. When we move into partial shade, the visibility improves significantly. The line becomes usable again. So the conclusion here is simple. Indoors, no problem. Outdoors, limited visibility without support tools. And that's something you should expect from a budget laser level. Now let's move to the most practical part of this review, real-world job site applications. Now let's talk about real-world usage. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how a tool performs in tests. What matters is how it performs in actual work. We tested the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level in multiple job site scenarios. First, tile installation. We used the horizontal line to guide tile placement, and the result? Straight alignment, consistent spacing, faster workflow. Instead of constantly measuring, you simply follow the laser reference. Next, ceiling marking. We projected the beam across the wall and used it as a guide for ceiling layout. This made marking faster and more accurate, especially in larger rooms. Then, door frame alignment. We use the vertical beam to check straightness, and this is where the tool becomes really useful, because instead of guessing, you have a clear visual reference. Now, is it perfect? No, but it significantly reduces error and increases efficiency, which is exactly what you need on a job site. So, in practical terms, this tool does what it is supposed to do. It helps you work faster, more accurately, and with more confidence. Now let's break down the pros and cons clearly. After all these tests, let's break things down clearly. What are the strengths, and where does this tool fall short? Starting with the positives, the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level is affordable. That's one of its biggest advantages. It's also lightweight and easy to use. No complicated setup, no learning curve. Just turn it on and start working. Indoor accuracy is good. Not perfect, but reliable for most construction tasks. And the device is stable during operation. No flickering, no overheating. Now let's talk about the limitations. Outdoor visibility is weak. You will need additional tools in bright conditions. Long-distance accuracy is limited, so this is not suitable for large-scale precision work. And the build quality, while decent, is not premium, so you need to handle it with reasonable care.
Now, putting everything together, this is not a high-end professional laser level, but it is not a toy either. It sits right in the middle, a practical, budget-friendly working tool. Now, the big question is, who should actually buy this?
Now let's answer the most important question. Who is this tool actually for? Because not every tool is made for everyone. The PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level is clearly designed for a specific type of user. If you were a beginner in construction, if you were just starting your work as a contractor, or if you are handling small to medium-sized projects, then this tool makes a lot of sense. Why? Because it gives you the essential functionality you need without forcing you to spend a large amount of money. It allows you to work faster, make fewer mistakes, and maintain acceptable accuracy. It is also a great option for home renovators, DIY users, technicians working on interior setups, basically anyone who needs reliable leveling without going into premium pricing. Now let's talk about who should not buy this. If you are working on large commercial projects, high-rise buildings, survey-level precision work, then this tool is not enough. You will need something more advanced, because at that level, even small inaccuracies can turn into major structural issues. So the decision becomes very simple. If your work demands extreme precision, go premium. If your work demands practical efficiency, this tool works. And that's the real positioning of this laser level. Let's go a little deeper into who should avoid this tool, because making the wrong choice here can actually cost you more in the long run. If your projects involve long-distance alignment, for example, large halls, open commercial spaces, exterior structural layouts, then relying on a budget laser level like the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level may not be the best idea. Why? Because as distance increases, even a small deviation becomes larger, and that can affect your final outcome. Another important case, if you are working in bright outdoor environments regularly, direct sunlight reduces laser visibility significantly. So unless you are using a detector, you may struggle to rely on the beam. Also, if you require certified precision for professional documentation, this tool does not fall into that category. It is not designed for survey-grade measurement. So in simple terms, this tool is not for extreme conditions. It is not for high-end engineering work. It is not for precision-critical industries. But that does not make it bad. It simply means you need to match the tool with the job. And that's where most people make mistakes. They expect a budget tool to perform like a premium device, and that expectation leads to disappointment. So always remember, right tool for the right job. Now let's put things into perspective by comparing this tool with higher-end options. When we talk about brands like Bosch or Leica, we're talking about precision-focused engineering tools. These devices are designed for long-distance accuracy, high visibility, extreme durability, and of course, they come at a much higher price. Now, where does the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level stand? It is not competing in that category, and it shouldn't. Instead, it focuses on accessibility. It gives you the basic functionality of a laser level at a much lower cost. Think of it like this. Premium tools are built for perfection. This tool is built for practicality, and in many real-world situations, practicality is enough. If you are installing tiles in a room, do you really need survey-grade accuracy? Probably not. If you are aligning a door frame, do you need a $1,000 laser system? Again, not necessarily. So the comparison isn't about which one is better, it's about which one fits your needs. And for many users, this tool fits just fine. Now let's talk about value for money, because this is where this tool becomes interesting. The PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level sits in the budget category, so naturally expectations are different. You are not expecting perfection, you are expecting usefulness. And that's exactly what this tool delivers. For the price you pay, you get a stable laser beam, usable accuracy, simple operation, and practical performance. Now compare that to manual methods, using a spirit level, measuring tape, marking repeatedly. That takes time, and time is money. So if this tool helps you save time, reduce errors, increase speed, then it already justifies its cost. That's the real definition of value, not perfection, but efficiency. And in that sense, this tool performs well. Now let's talk about long-term use, because buying a tool is not just about today, it's about how it performs over time. With the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level, durability depends on how you use it. This is not a heavy-duty industrial device, so if you treat it roughly, drop it frequently, expose it to extreme conditions, then yes, performance may degrade over time. But if you use it properly, store it carefully, and handle it like a precision tool, it can last a reasonable amount of time. The internal calibration also matters. Like any laser level, it may require occasional checking, but for normal use, it remains consistent. So overall, it is not built for abuse. It is built for controlled, practical use.
Now let's talk about common mistakes, because many people blame tools when the real problem is usage. One major mistake is expecting too much from a budget tool. The PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level is not designed for extreme precision, so using it for high-end tasks is a mistake. Another mistake, ignoring setup. If your surface is not stable, if your tripod is not level, your results will not be accurate, no matter how good the tool is. Also, not checking calibration. Even a small shift can affect alignment, so always verify before critical work. And finally, using it in the wrong environment. Bright sunlight without a detector, long-distance alignment beyond its capability, these are not tool failures, these are usage errors. So if you avoid these mistakes, you will get much better results. Now let me give you some expert tips. If you want to get the best performance from the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level, follow these. Always place it on a stable surface. Use a tripod whenever possible. Avoid uneven ground. Work within optimal range. Don't push it beyond its limits. Use it mainly for indoor tasks. For outdoor work, use a detector or shaded conditions. Check alignment before starting critical tasks. And most importantly, use it as a guide, not absolute truth. Combine it with your experience. Because tools assist you, they don't replace your judgment. So after all the tests, all the observations, here is the final performance summary. The PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level delivers good indoor accuracy, stable beam performance, simple and practical usability. It struggles in outdoor visibility, long-distance precision, but within its category, it performs well. It is reliable for everyday tasks, and that is what matters. So here's the final verdict. If you were looking for a high-end, professional-grade laser system, this is not it. But if you were looking for a practical tool, a budget-friendly solution, a reliable everyday helper, then the PREXISO P2LC15 Laser Level is a solid choice. It does not promise perfection, but it delivers functionality. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need. If you found this review helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, Asif buildPro Insight, and comment below Laser Guide if you want more professional tool reviews like this. Because here, we don't just talk about tools. We test them, we analyze them, and we give you real practical insights. So you can make better decisions, save money, and work smarter. And remember, the right tool doesn't just make your job easier, it makes your results better. See you in the next video.